everybody, my name's Alisha and today I am doing a book unhaul. Ever since I joined booktube and got back into reading, I have just constantly been buying books and it is a big problem, and I feel like everybody goes through that phase when they first, join into this lovely, wonderful community where we just, fall into the trap of capitalism and buy books. And, that's just like my favorite pastime, is just going through any website, going to the bookstore and going to buy used books, just any kind of books that I can get my hands on, I want to buy. And, the problem is that I buy so many books and then they just pile up and sit on my shelves and sit in random corners of my room, and I never end up reading them. And then by the time that I, come around to actually trying to pick something up that I already have on my shelf, I am not really interested anymore. So it's just this really bad cycle. So today I am doing a really big unhaul because I really need to get rid of a lot of books, because I also want to buy a lot more books that are coming out this year and that I'm really excited about. And I mean, hopefully through this whole process I can be a little more cognizant of the books I'm buying and actually try to read these books. But all that to say, we're getting rid of books today, so let's get into it. Okay, so I have a huge pile sitting here and this is going to be in no particular order, and we're just gonna go through all the books that I have that I want to get rid of. So first up, I have a book called The Lion's Den by Catherine St. John, and I have actually read a book by this author and it's called The Siren. I really did enjoy that book, but I mean, I just don't see myself picking this up anytime soon, and I feel like if I do ever want to pick it up, I can just pick up the audiobook or from the library. So yeah, it's not really high on my list, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. Then I have Parachutes by Kelly Yang, and I don't really know anything about this book. I think it's a YA contemporary, and I mean, I did want to be reading more books by authors of color and from different cultures, but I just don't really feel like I'm really interested in this book, and it is so thick. So again, I feel like this is more of a book that I'm going to be reading on audio if I ever do. Then I have Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. I have read this book and I gave it 3 stars, and another one of her books, Jar of Hearts, is one of my all-time favorite thrillers, but this book just wasn't great, so I don't really feel the need to have a physical copy of it. Then I have a book that I actually bought before I had read the first book in the series, which was a mistake because it is Jade War by Fonda Lee, and I have read Jade City and I gave it 3 stars. It's really not my favorite, and I am just not really sure if I want to continue in the series. I feel like I will, but not anytime soon, and most probably not physically, because again, this is like a real thick baby. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna read it physically, and for that reason, I don't think I need a physical copy. Then I have another thriller, and that is The Last Widow by Karen Slaughter. And Karen Slaughter is so popular in the thriller community, and I haven't read anything from her, but I really want to read Pretty Girls, and I think this is a older title of hers. And I mean, another book where I'm just if I'm gonna read it, I'm probably just gonna pick up the audio or get a library book. So I mean, unless I really end up loving this book, which until I read it I won't know, but I mean, if I do really love it, I can always buy it again, I guess. But I mean, yeah, I don't really think I want to keep it. And also another thing, I feel like with thrillers, I usually these days I'm trying to only buy books that I really love and can see myself rereading, because if I'm not going to reread it, I don't really feel the need to have a physical book. And so with thrillers, I feel like once you read it that first time and you see all the plot twists and you see everything, it is kind of unlikely that I'm going to reread them unless it's a really great book or there were other elements that I really liked. So yeah, with thrillers, I just don't see myself rereading them. But you never know, but I think for this one, we're just gonna let it go. Then I have a book that I'm kind of on the fence for because it is The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Booley. And I've heard a lot of great things about this book, and the cover is so pretty, but I don't know if I'm gonna physically read it. And it's another one where I think it is a mystery thriller, but I mean, I don't know if I'm really gonna love it enough to want to keep it. And I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up anytime soon. So in the meantime, I feel like I can, you know, give it to somebody who would much rather have it and like actually really loves it and wants to read it. But I am hoping to read this at some point. I have another thriller that I recently read, and this is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. And this was such a fast and quick read, and I did really enjoy it. But it's just another one where I'm not really going to reread it, so there's no real reason to keep it. Now I have some romance books. The first is the Romance Book Club, and I did read this a little while ago, and I enjoyed it, but not enough to keep it. It's not like a favorite of mine, and I'm also not a huge romance reader, so I don't think I like romance books are. I don't really want to buy a lot of romance books because I know I'm not going to reread them or read a lot in general of the romance genre. So yeah, we're getting rid of this one. And then I have The Boyfriend Project by Farah Rochon. I don't know how to pronounce that. This is a book that I do want to read at some point. I haven't really heard a lot of things about it, but I feel like it could be good. And yeah, but I think this is definitely one that I'd pick up on audio, so I don't need a physical copy. So then I have, I think this is a historical fiction, but this is The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. And I was really excited to read this last year when it first came out because, I mean, first of all, the cover is gorgeous. I think it's so nice. But once it came out, I started hearing not so many great things about the book. Like, not a lot of people liked it. So now I basically just kept pushing off reading it, and I don't really see myself reading it anytime soon, but it's just another one that if I do pick it up ever, it'll just be from the library or as an audio, so I don't really need a physical copy. Then I have Finlay Donovan is Killing It by El Casamano, and don't worry, I absolutely love this book. It is really popular, and I actually already have a hardcover copy, so I just don't need this paperback anymore. But this book is amazing. So then I have a YA fantasy series, and that is We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. And I have started this book. I just did not really like it when I first started it, and I haven't really like read a lot of it, like, I don't know, like only a few chapters, but I just couldn't really get into it at the time, and I did buy the sequel, and this also is a hardcover copy, but yeah, I just didn't really get into it at the time, so I feel like when I do pick it up again, I'm just gonna pick up a library version, and depending on if I actually end up liking it, then I can decide if I do actually want to have a physical copy. And also, like, if I ever do buy it, I want to get like both hardcover versions. So I think for now, and I know like how beloved this series is to other people, so I just feel like, you know, somebody else could value it more than I am right now. Now I have a bunch of thrillers, and first we have The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. And this is a book I read a while ago, and I did really like it. I think I gave it like 4 stars, but I'm just gonna keep repeating myself. But with thrillers, I just don't really see myself reading it again unless it was like 5 stars, absolutely amazing. And again, although I like this one, it just wasn't 5 stars for me. So yeah, probably not gonna reread it. Then I have The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins, and this is another one that I've read, gave 3 stars to, and I'm just probably never gonna pick it up again. Next is My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. This is I think like a 3 or 4 star book. I didn't really love it as much as other people do because I've heard this book is like really popular, but yeah, this is just something that I definitely think somebody else will enjoy more than I will. So next I have The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider, and I don't even know where I picked this book up from. Just gonna pile her. I don't know where I picked this book up from, and I really don't know anything about it, but it is a YA contemporary romance, I'm pretty sure, and I'm just not there at the moment. You know, I'm not in the YA contemporary genre mood, so I haven't been for a while really. So yeah, I don't see myself picking this up anytime soon. Then I have a Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. Now I did read Yoke earlier this year, and I did actually really enjoy it, and I really liked this author's writing style, but this book I think is just more of a YA contemporary type book. And I don't see myself reading it anytime soon. And if I do, you know, the library is out there, so I'm probably going to use that. Next, I have a book called Hello Girls by Brittany Cavallaro and Emily Henry. And this is a YA book, and obviously Emily Henry is very well known for her adult romance books. And I do actually really want to read this book, so I might read it before I get rid of it because, I don't know, just something about this cover and like this story seems interesting. I pretty much can guess already that it's not going to be 5 stars. So once I've read it, I probably will be giving it away. Then next I have The Power by Naomi Alderman, and this is a book that I read recently, and I was actually really excited about this and had pretty high expectations, and unfortunately they fell flat because I didn't love this book. I think I gave it like 3 stars, and yeah, I really don't see myself rereading it or caring about it again, so it's gonna go, sadly. Now this next one, I am physically in pain for having to get rid of them because they are the Shades of Magic series by V. Schwab, and I was so excited to read this book in this series because, as you can tell, I bought like these really great hardcover editions in this great box set, and it was kind of expensive. So I've read the first book and I just didn't love it. I think I gave it like 3 stars, and I do want to finish the series and read the other 2 books, but given how much I didn't like the first book, you know, I'm hoping things go up from there and I like the second and third book more, but as a whole, as a series, I just don't see myself loving it enough to want to keep a physical version. So yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of them because these are also, oh my god, I just noticed this, they're the collector's edition. So times like this is when I'm like, I need to not spend so much money. I need to read books before I buy them, and I just need to, but like, they're so pretty. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. This is like physically painful. I don't want to get rid of it, but I need to. Okay, we're almost at the end of the pile. So now I have 1,000 Beginnings and Endings, and this is a short story collection, and has a bunch of like YA authors. Not like YA, but like these authors I'm pretty sure are most known for writing YA books. And so yeah, I really don't know much about this, but it says it's 15 retellings of Asian myths and legends. You know, on second thought, I feel like I might read this before getting rid of it, or like read it and then decide if I want to get rid of it, because I don't know, I don't really read short stories, but I feel like I could fly through this pretty quickly and then decide if I want to. So we might hold on that. Then I have Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley, and this is a Owl Crate edition. So it is very, very pretty, and we got the purple sprayed edges. But I've had this for like a year now, and I just have never really gravitated towards reading it, and I really haven't heard anybody talking about this book, so I feel like that's never a good thing, unfortunately. And I mean, I might read it in the future sometime, but again, like, this is such a nice copy that, you know, if somebody's read it and has really loved it, I would love to be able to give it to them instead of just hoarding it for no reason. So I lied. I actually have found 2 more piles of books, and I am going to continue going through them. So sit back, get your popcorn, because we got a lot more to go. I have The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, and this of course is a very popular book, and there's also a movie, and I have to say I've never read it, and I've just never felt compelled to. And like I said, my kind of YA contemporary phase is sort of over, and if I ever do want to pick it up, audio books are out there. Then I have Ashantay by Gita Trelease. And I did actually start this book once upon a time, and I just never was interested, and I didn't really get that far into it. But this is the type of book where if I didn't get into it, I don't think forcing myself to finish it is really gonna get me into it. So yeah, it's just going. Then I have a book that I read at the start of last year, and I was so excited about this book, and it is Cast in Firelight by Dana Swift. So I started reading the ebook of this, and I really loved the first, I don't even know, like half of the book. So I went out and purchased it before finishing it, and then once I finished it, I realized it wasn't actually as good as I felt like it was at the start. So yeah, it's just another lesson that finish the book before you buy it, because again, like, this is a good book, it just wasn't 5 stars, so I don't really feel the need to have a physical copy. Then I have another series, and that is All the Stars and Teeth and All the Tides of Fate. And I don't really know why I picked this up. I don't know anything about it, but it seems like a typical YA fantasy that I'm not really interested in. So yeah, they're going. So next I have a book that I'm actually kind of sad about, and I might try finishing it, or at least get an audio version, but that is The Tiger at Midnight by Swati Teerdala. and I started this book and I got like kind of far, like maybe 30-40% of the way through, and I was liking it. I just wasn't loving it, and it didn't really like hold my attention because I started reading other things and just never picked it up again. But this is like a cat and mouse kind of game between two characters, and they fall in love, and it's a Indian inspired YA fantasy, and I mean it just has a lot of things that I feel like I could like. So I don't know, I think I might give this one away, but I'm definitely gonna pick it up at some point. I have another series, but only the second book in the series, and it is The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh. So I have read The Wrath and the Dawn, and I didn't really like it. I think it was the writing style, because I also have another Renee Ahdieh book that I'm gonna get rid of. So I think it's just something about her writing that I just don't really love, because I never really could get into The Wrath and the Dawn, and like the story and the characters and all of it just wasn't all that interesting to me. And this is also like an Arabian Nights retelling, and I just feel like I've read a lot of those, and this doesn't really offer anything new, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I had bought the first one, but I've already gotten rid of that one, and I had bought the second one without reading it. But yeah, I think it's time to let it go. Then I have The Kingdom of Bak by Marie Lu, and I really like Marie Lu and her writing and her stories, but this book is just really slow, and it just wasn't something that I was interested in. It's basically about Mozart and or like Mozart's sister, and about her life, and it's sort of like a historical retelling. But yeah, I did start this book, I just never finished it, and I never was compelled to finish it. So yeah, unfortunately this one is going. Then I have a really pretty edition of Frankly in Love by David Yoon, and it has these like really cool sprayed edges, and like the color is really nice. But I read this book and I actually like really didn't like it. I think I gave it like 2 stars, but I just really didn't like the main character, and he was just really annoying, and I don't know, I don't even remember much about this book, but I remember I didn't like the main character. So yeah, getting rid of it. Then I have another copy of A Darker Shade of Magic. This is a paperback, and well, we know my opinion on this, so it's going. Then I have Nocturna by Maya Motain, and I did actually start this book last year, and I don't really remember why, but I kind of stopped reading it, and I just never picked it up again, wasn't really interested in it. And it has an interesting concept, but yeah, I just don't see myself finishing it or caring about it, unfortunately. And we have another series, The Hazelwood and the Night Country, and I've read this book and I actually enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 3 or 4 stars, but just I feel like wherever this ended and like whatever the story was, I was fine with just one book. So this is a sequel, I'm pretty sure. It might be a companion book. But yeah, I wasn't really invested, I guess, in that whole story, so I never really felt the need to pick up the second book. And again, like, I'm just never gonna reread this. Then I have The Night Tiger by Yangzi Shu, and this is a kind of weird book. It is a historical fiction, and it has a lot going on in it, but I just didn't really like the characters or care about the characters or the story, and I am never gonna reread it. Then I have Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And I remember I bought this book like early on when I first kind of got back into reading, and I had heard a lot of things about this book, and it was really popular a while back. But now I've heard a lot of bad things about Jay Kristoff as a person, and I don't really want to support him anymore. So I haven't ever read this, but I don't plan to, or to read any of Jay Kristoff's work. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of it. Then I have The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. As I said, I just don't really love this author's writing. I think I did also start this book, but I just couldn't get into it, and it's really sad because like this is a vampire book in like Louisiana, I'm pretty sure. Like I feel like it'd have really great vibes, but for some reason I just couldn't. So I think like maybe at some point I might try to read it as an audiobook, but yeah, I don't need a physical copy. Then I have Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. This is a book I read a while back, and I think I gave it like 3 stars, but it was just really weird, and it was definitely more like no plot, just vibes, and I didn't love the vibes. So yeah, getting rid of it. Next I have another Owl Crate edition book, and this is Witches Steeped in Gold by Sienna Smart. And this is a really thick book as well, and I mean it's a really beautiful copy, and I mean it definitely is like an interesting concept. On the back it says, enemies bent on revenge, an unlikely alliance, one witch left standing. So it seems like it could be cool, but I think like if somebody out there really loves this book, then I feel like they would really like to have a, you know, special edition of it. And I haven't read it yet, and I don't really see myself reading it anytime soon. I do want to read it, just not anytime soon. So I feel like, you know, this could be better in the hands of somebody else. And then lastly, I have Muse by Brittany Cavallaro. And this is a book that I was really excited for last year, and I bought like the brand new copy, but I just never have wanted to really pick it up, and I've just kind of forgotten about it. It's another book that I haven't heard a lot of things about, so yeah, I don't really see myself reading it, and again, if I want to, I can pick it up at the library. So yeah, I don't think I need this version or like this copy of it. And there we have it. Those are all of the books that I'm getting rid of. There is a lot of them. I don't even know, that could be over like 50 books, but I feel like, you know, we've made a lot of space on my shelves, a lot of space for lots of new books. So hopefully I will be more mindful of the books that I'm buying and, you know, save my money and yeah, you know, not buy as many books for no reason just to get rid of them, you know, a few months later. But thanks guys for watching this video, and I will see you next time.